All right, so this is another question that we've been given. Question says, given that the range of the functions sine inverse, cos inverse, so we've been given the ranges again, evaluate the following. So this is simple now. Let's do this. Okay. Okay, this question, I think it's almost the same as what we're just from solving, because the first question here is sine, open brackets, cos inverse of half. So this one, if you want, you can first say, let phi be equal to what? Cos inverse of half. So cos inverse of half is a special angle. This will give us what? 60. Yeah, so cos inverse of half is 60. Wait, what did I say the answer here was? I think there was a mistake. Cos inverse of this, the time I was giving out the answers. I said 60, right? This one is the one that gives 60. This one is 30. Then this one is also 60. And then this one is 45. So there was a mistake the time I was writing out the answers here. This was supposed to be 30. Actually, negative 30. No, just positive. Because for cos, whether there's a negative in front or there's a positive, the answer has to, the answer will still be what? A positive. Okay. So let's proceed with this one. So cos inverse of half is the one that gives us what? 60. Yeah. Okay, so let's quickly move on. All right, so we have 60, and then in radians, this one we said it's 1/3 pi. Let me use white. So in radians, it's 1/3 pi. And then, so this is just the reference angle that we found, or this is the angle that we have found. So now we have 60 there. Then if we say this part here, cos inverse of half is equal to phi, it means that what we're going to have is what? Is sine phi there. So sine phi is simply just going to be the same as what? Sine, because we have found 60 there. So we can put 60, sine 60. And this will be equal to what? So sine 60 is simply just equal to the root of 3/2. Then you can get this as your reference angle. And yeah, you can get this as your reference angle and simply just put it in the verses, in the quadrants to check if there are also other angles that are lying in the given range. Or let me just finish one. So let's first start by checking this one. So we have 60 as the answer. So the first answer that we got for cos was 60. So we check the range for cos. The range for cos, they're saying is supposed to be between what? 0 and pi. So here we have, let's check the quadrants. So the first one that we had was the reference angle. So the reference angle is 60 there. So in the first quadrant, since we had positive half, then it automatically qualifies to be in the first quadrant. And then cos is also positive in the fourth quadrant. So it also automatically qualifies to be what? In the fourth quadrant. So in the first quadrant, this is our solution. And then in the fourth quadrant, the solution is supposed to be what? 360 degrees minus what? Minus 60. So when we subtract that, we're getting 300 degrees. But if you check the domain that has been, the range that has been given, The range is from 0 to what? To pi. Pi is just the same as 180. So the range is from 0 to 180. But the answer that we're going to find in the fourth quadrant is what? Is 300, meaning it's out of this range. So we disqualify this from being our answer. So the answer that we're just going to get is the one that is in the first quadrant. So in the first quadrant, the solution is what? Is 60 degrees, which is 1/3 pi. So this is one of the answers that we'll get as our first answer. Then the second answer will be found by putting 60 where there's phi in this, where there's this part. We put the solution where there's cos inverse of half. So when we put the solution there, we're getting the root of 3/2 as our solution. And this solution, we can also try to test it. Oh, for this one, there's no need of us, there's no need of us testing because it's already a solution. There's no need of us testing to check in which quadrant it lies. So this is the final answer. So the final answer is simply just the root of 3/2. So do we have questions on this one? Let me quickly solve the second part, which is part B. Okay, so the second part is cos of what? Of sine inverse of half. So we use these square brackets. Okay, so we say let phi be equal to what? Sine inverse of half. So sine inverse of half is simply just 30 degrees. So this one is just our reference angle. So 30 degrees in radians can also be written as what? 30 degrees in radians is this is just pi over 6 or 1/6 pi. It's just the same. And then we have to check the quadrants to see if we also have another angle in another quadrant which qualifies to be in this range that we've been given for what's this, for sine inverse. So the range that has been given for sine is simply just this one, from -90 to 90, because pi/2 is just the same as 90. So from -90 to 90. So this is the range that we've been given for sine inverse. So sine inverse, we've gotten 30 as one of our reference, as one of our angles. And we know that since it's positive, it will automatically be in the first quadrant. Now let us check the other quadrant in which sine is positive. So sine is also positive in the second quadrant. So in the second quadrant, we have sine there. And we know to say in the second quadrant, we have to subtract the reference angle from 180 or from pi, if you're using radians. So the reference angle is phi there. So if we subtract 30 from 180, we say 180 degrees minus 30. The answer that we're going to get will simply just be equal to what? The answer that we're going to get will be 150 degrees. So if you check 150 degrees, is it between -90 and 90? The answer is no. And this will now just tell us to say the solution that is in the second quadrant will not be part of our solution. So the only solution that we have is pi/6 or just 30, because it's the only solution that lies in this range that we've been given. Yeah, so we quickly proceed. So the other solution that we need to find is now cos phi, because we said sine inverse is equal to phi. So cos phi is just the same as cos, the phi that we have found is what? Is 30. So we say cos 30 degrees. So cos 30 degrees is simply just equal to, cos 30 degrees is simply just equal to the root of 3/2. Yeah, so cos 30 is simply just the root of 3/2. All right, so this is the solution to this question. Do we have any question? Okay. So as we can see, we're just remaining with 4 minutes to go. So I'm going to.
So that means.
Hello?
So that means there is no answer that qualifies there.
No, the final answer is the root of 3/2. Here in the first quadrant, you always get the reference angle. So in the first quadrant, we have 30 degrees. So 30 degrees is between -90 and what? And 90. So this one qualifies to be our answer on the first part here. Yeah. 150 is out of the range, so we can't use it to find the other answer. Yeah. So let's quickly move on to the next question. So you should join using the same link. Let me just end the meeting. You should join using the same link so that we proceed.